No, nobody's coming.
As soon as I get past, let me know when I can crank it.
Okay, keep going. You're almost there. Almost there.
Can I crank it yet?
Yeah, you still got a sign to go past. All right, now you could probably start cranking now. Yep.
Got plenty of room back there.
Yeah. Yep, you're doing good. Wow, those tires are straight towards me.
I love those tires.
Oh, I was looking at the front ones. But are you coming? All right.
Okay, I guess still trying to record me. Okay, I'll meet you at the other side. Bye.
Okay, so we're loaded up in the coach and we are ready for our last leg of our trip all the way to Minnesota today, from Bloomington Normal all the way up to Waterville, Minnesota. So it's going to be a 462-mile trip. Not too bad. You can see Ryder. I don't know. I think he's
shedding all over.
shedding all over.
He's ready to go. But yeah, this is the longest leg of our trip, so we are looking forward to getting there and just
finally been able to relax.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys know how it is when you have to, set up, tear down, kind of thing. And now you're like, okay, I just want to get there, get to our final destination. So now we can set up and we're going to stay for a while. So stay tuned as we take you on our travels today from Bloomington Normal to Waterville, Minnesota in Kamp Dels. in the coach at Kamp Dels. And you know how it goes in the RV world. You tell the campground your size, your height, your length, and they go, yep, we got a pull-through site for you, and you guys will be able to get into it. While we're sitting here, and I'm sitting in our coach as the manager.
Are you talking to me?
I mean, Chris is on the phone. I'm filming a video. And so Brandon is his name, and he's actually out there cutting down tree branches so that our coach can fit in their pull-through site here, which they say is a 50-foot pull-through site. So, yeah, so he's out there going above and beyond because he wanted to help us and get in. So, man, I'm super appreciative of him going out there and doing that. So he's cutting down these branches just so that we can fit in this site. And it is tight. It is tight down here. But it's a beautiful park, and I'm so appreciative of Brandon going out there and going above and beyond and taking down tree branches so that we can try to get into this site. Kind of flying in front of me. So again, you know, it's like one of those things you never know what you're going to get into when you come to a campground. You can do all the research you want. You're kind of trusting, you know, their eyes. And so anyway, so we're going to try to get into this site and see if we can fit in there good. So we'll definitely be talking about this later, but I wanted to jump in here now while it's fresh and we're watching Brandon cut these trees down. Okay, so we made it to Kamp Dels. It's the mission that we've been on ever since we left Greensboro, North Carolina, and here we are. But boy, do we have a story to tell you guys. And before we jump into that, today, as we're filming this video, it's 4th of July. So if you're watching this, happy Independence Day. Happy 4th Day, everybody. But we're gonna get you caught up on our leg from the RV truck stop that that loves to here, which went very good for us. There was no issue. A little bit of road construction, but we got through the state of Illinois. And just so you guys know, the state of Illinois, it's still flat with turbine fans and wind turbines and soybeans and corn
And bouncy roads.
And then Wisconsin wasn't too bad either. Those of you who maybe follow the channel know that I'm originally from Wisconsin, and the whole reason why we are on this trip is because our adult kids live up in Minnesota. So that's why we come up here as often as we do, so we can spend time with them, because now they're having grandkids. So we're grandparents. That makes us grandparents. I know we don't look that old, and you're like, wow, you guys are too young.
Yeah.
And I thank you for that compliment. But no, it's exciting. So we have two granddaughters that we also get to see when we come up here, and one is 1 year old, and the other one is just
she's a little over a month and a half.
Over a month and a half, which is just crazy.
So we have yet to meet little Maggie, so we're excited to meet her.
So we have Maisie and Maggie, and we're so excited. And if their parents are okay with it, we'll try to get them on a video so that you guys can see them too. But let's talk about Kamp Dels. Let's talk about, as we were coming into Kamp Dels, we started getting nervous. It's in a beautiful setting. I mean,
it is.
It really is. It's right next to a lake. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when you drive up, there's a lake on one side of the road and the campground on the other, which, everybody loves being near a lake, right? So that part we're like, great, this is looking good. But then...
Yeah, and the road was like really narrow, a little narrow 2-lane road. And when you took that corner, you're already going, okay, I mean, because we're a Class A, right? So, I mean, we're 45 feet. We're 13 and a half high, so we need space. And as we were pulling into where you check in, first of all, it was up on a slant. So as you come up into Kamp Dels, It's at a slant, and that already was making me just a little bit nervous knowing that we still have to unhook the Jeep. But we were doing something that maybe a lot of you all do, and that is, as you're driving past the campground, you start looking at the campsites because you kind of start sizing them up, so you're getting them locked in your mind of, oh, here's the spacing and here's the size. And when we saw that, we started getting nervous too as we were driving down that road, because it was like, wow, their sites are small and
Got them packed in like sardines.
So we go to check in, and we're a little bit nervous already with it, just everything that we've seen so far.
Now, just to give you a little background too, so we wanted to find a campground that was near our kids. And the one that we had stayed at in the past, Dakota Meadows, unfortunately, they were building a Top Golf, which then the campground gave up a huge chunk of their spaces. So we lost out on that campground. But this one online looks really good. And there weren't very many reviews out there at all.
No, we couldn't find a whole lot, especially for rigs our size. So like you guys probably do when you go to check, we called when we booked our reservation and we said, hey, we have a 40-foot, 45-foot, sorry, I'm almost going to the fifth wheel days. But anyway, 45-foot motor coach, can we fit? Oh, yeah. The pull-through site is 50 feet, so you'll fit in fine. And I'm like, okay, all right. All right, so you...
50, so that's what they said, 50, huh?
50 is what they told me. It's 50 feet, and we're 45. They said, oh, yeah, you'll be fine. So you trust them, right? And then we tried to find pictures and all kinds of stuff, and we couldn't find anything. So,
well, and the pictures that we saw of the campground, actually, the campground was actually fairly empty. So it looked super spacious, and we didn't think anything of it.
Yeah. So I go in there and check in, and they're saying, they get out the map, like they do, and he takes his Sharpie and he starts, sir, yeah, you're gonna go down this road right here. Now the funny thing about that, when he said you're gonna go down this road right here, I saw that road when I was pulling in. I actually thought it was a cart path for golf carts. And so when he said you're going to go down that road that you just kind of pulled by, and I'm like, that's a road?
And it clearly is a road that is only pretty much large enough for one car to go one way at a time. And it's the in and out road to the part of the campground that we're staying at.
I mean, it's barely bigger than our Jeep, even for that matter. But so right off the bat, I was just thinking, oh my gosh, we got to go down that with our coach. So we ended up saying, well, let's pause on this for a second, and we disconnected the Jeep, and I said, I want to ride down in that area to see if we could fit. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. So Chris and I got in the Jeep and we drove down here. And what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were, well, we need to find another place to camp. I mean, there were cars parked everywhere. It's so narrow. Everything's so close together. Like, this is a true campground. And we just didn't know. We didn't know. We did as much research as we could, and everything sounded great. But I'll tell you, I was like, we cannot do this. We can't. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
And when we drove it with the Jeep, I'm thinking, okay, I can cut that corner. There's plenty of grass. I can swing wide here. You kind of start doing the math, but also at the same time, I'm going, this is not big rig type big rig friendly RV park. And the last thing you want to do is get stuck.
Right.
That's our big thing, or become the grand show that everybody watches because you took a chance on it, and now you got to call a tow truck or something to get you out. So we ended up looping it twice, and we talked about it again. And I think the campers who were sitting outside watching us is like, what are those guys doing in that Jeep?
Yeah.
Are they lost? We're like, no, we're surveying. So we were basically going to say, not going to work.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, even with the turns, even with the skinny roads back here, They have a tree that the branches were too low in the site that we're supposed to be in. It's not super wide, so we would have had to jump up on top of their cement patio, which now I worry about cracking because, you know, we're over 40,000 pounds. So I'm thinking, I didn't see it. So we come back and Chris and I are in the Jeep and we're like, it's 4th of July weekend. Where are we gonna go? 4th of July. We called the KOA.
We start calling.
And they're like, no, sir, we don't have any openings, which is kind of what I thought. And I'm thinking, okay.
I mean, and this is Minnesota, you know, so when the sun comes out, these people go out and they go camping, they go to the lakes, they are all everywhere but home.
You got to take advantage of that warm season when it's here. So we're like going, I'm thinking, okay, is there a rest area? Is there a truck stop? Is there
Walmart?
Something?
I mean, we're just like desperately thinking, where can we go?
And so as we're talking and we're planning and we're brains turning, you know, Chris goes, hey, there's some guy walking around the coach. Maybe we should go see what he wants. Well, it ended up being, his name is Brandon, and he's the owner's son. So, I mean, obviously he works here at the campground. And he was like, hey, I hear you guys are having some issues and you're thinking, you know, that it might not work. I got another path, you know, that we could take you on that may work. He said, jump in the golf cart, you know, and he goes, I want to see whatever we can do to try to get you guys in this site. And I'm like, good luck, bro. All right, I appreciate your enthusiasm.
And I'm still up in the Jeep while he's doing that, holding my breath.
So I jump in the golf cart with him, and he did take a different route, and he said, hey, there's no RVs behind you, in the site behind you, so you could just turn this one corner at the bottom of the hill and then cut across through that site and then pull into yours. Now, and that was definitely a better option.
Yes.
And I said, okay. I said, well, you know what, Brandon? I said, that's great. I said, but guess what, man? I said, that tree that's in our site, the branches are too low. And he goes, oh, you're right. And I said, on top of that, I said, I'm going to have to, you know, pull over and jump the curb of your patio, which could crack it, you know, and crush it. And I don't want to tear up your stuff. And he goes, you know what? He goes, I really appreciate you, you know, watching out for our stuff. He goes, but you know what? I'll cut those branches down. He goes, and you know what? If you crack the patio, he goes, I'm the one that poured that. He goes, just pour it again. He goes, if we can make that work, would you do it? You know? And I'm like, okay, if you could make that work, you know, we'll do it. Well, sure enough, he did it. He got out
a chainsaw,
like with an extension or whatever, and he started going
to town on that tree.
Oh my gosh, Brandon, you know, we've been to a lot of RV resorts and nice people, but I have never had anybody ever go above and beyond like that to try to get you into a campsite. So I don't know if you'll ever watch this, Brandon, but if you do,
yes, not to mention, oh my gosh, it was so hot and so humid. It was crazy hot and humid, and he's out there just going to town on these trees.
And some neighbors came over, some camp neighbors came over, and everybody's grabbing the branches and pulling them out of the way. And I mean, it was just incredible. So customer service here at Kamp Dels is incredible. So I got to give him that. And then he stayed here with us as we pulled forward. We had to shimmy back and forth a little bit. Yes, I did jump the patio, but it didn't crack. But there was a little tree on the driver's side that also had to be trimmed, and he fired it up and trimmed off a couple branches over there. So, I mean, we got into the site that we didn't think we were going to get in.
And we were definitely the spectacle of the campground.
Yes, we were. What's funny is, you know, we're the biggest rig in this place. And so even when we were waiting and just checking in, there was so many people just like, wow. And even the camp neighbors down here were like, you think you got a big enough RV?
And again, we had no idea what to expect. You know, there's the interesting thing about this campground, and I think this is kind of a Midwest Minnesota thing, is you've got seasonal sites. So a lot of the, gosh, what do we have? There's over 500?
I think it's over 500.
Over 500 spots in this campground, and 2/3 of those spots are actually with your
park models.
And what's the what's the term they use?
Seasonal.
Seasonal. So these are folks that keep their campers here, a lot of them probably year-round, especially, the park models, and then they have their weekend sites. And the section that we are in is primarily the seasonals, with the exception of 2 rows of pull-throughs that are weekend sites. So we are literally surrounded by all these people that basically, they full-time, they're here. This is their summer home, and they're here. They're all sitting on their porches watching us roll in.
Yeah, we put on quite the show. But we got in, thank the Lord, and all is good from that standpoint. But I think, it's really good, to err on the side of caution. I think it's great that we did get in the Jeep, that we came down and assessed the whole thing instead of just plowing down here or getting stuck or,
Well, and if we would have done that, Brandon never would have came out and helped us. We would have gone the way that they told us to go, which we were like when we were driving around in our Jeep, we had to ask people to move their cars because they were parked in part of the
golf cart path.
There was, we were going to be straddling the road pretty well, not to mention, the cars that were parked very close to the side of the path. So
yeah, so what an experience, and so we are going to do a campground review because we love to do campground reviews. So we do plan on doing one about Kamp Dels. It really is in a pretty setting. It's been around for 70 years.
Yeah.
So, and it's huge. I mean,
oh
it really,
my gosh,
really
it is.
huge.
There's so many amenities, but it is the quintessential campground. Like if you're looking for a luxury RV resort, this is not that. This is a quintessential campground, and you can just tell everybody that loves here, that comes here, they love it. They are hardcore camping and they're having fun.
Yeah, they really are. And the employees here, the ones that we've had to deal with, including Brandon, the owner's son, super nice people. So it's not even, about that. But big rig, our big rig Class A 45-foot friendly, not so much. I mean, there's some single axle Class A's here, in the 30, 38 foot range, 35, 38,
And we did see one other Newmar Mountain Air.
An older one.
And I will tell you, that guy literally, he was so close to his electrical, and it was definitely between his 2 slides, and
it was inches.
From the side of his camper.
Dude, oh my gosh.
No.
So, I mean, so incredible. But we made it here, safe and sound, as they say. So we were glad to finally get here, and it wasn't so relaxing. It was pretty intense there.
Very intense.
For a little bit. And this is, where we talk about in the Bible, it talks about fruits of the spirits, and one of them, spirit is patience.
Yeah.
And so we definitely needed patience with this one. It's just okay. But we did. I mean, we did good. I feel like we did good. We assessed the situation. We double checked it, And truly, if Brandon wouldn't have cut down the tree branches and stuff, we wouldn't have been able to stay
no
here.
way.
So,
yeah.
So customer service goes a long way, So here we are. We made it. We're excited to be here. So stay tuned, because we are going to do a campground review on here. Because if you're pulling a fifth wheel, even a 42-foot fifth wheel to any travel trailer, I mean, this place is perfect. I feel like for that. But for a 45-foot motor coach, I don't think it's so perfect for that. Nice people. So if you come here with your 45-foot motor coach, there might be a little risk factor.
Yeah, you might get a little nervous. So, but it just, goes to show you that, life isn't always what you expect, right? And you've got to be ready for the curves and the turns, right?
Yeah.
And you can't get too anxious.
That's the word right there.
Yeah.
Anxious. And that brings up, another scripture. The Bible says, be anxious for nothing. So I don't know how you felt you did in that moment. Would you get a passing grade?
Yeah, I was actually better than I thought, but it was, when you think about it, we are full-timers. This is our home, and the last thing I wanted to do was take a corner and take out the side of our RV. So, we just didn't know. Again, but we are here. We made it safe. No accidents, no mishaps. Thank the Lord. And we're excited to be here, and we can't wait to see family.
Yeah, we can't wait. And you know what? That's a good point Chris brings up, because that's another thing in our assessing this whole thing was, this is our home now behind us. So it's our everything. And to have that, get stuck or in sand or dirt or mud or whatever, that's our house. That's what we live in anyway. So something else to consider, if you're a full-timer and you're going, well, I think I can just plow down there, plow in that site. Yeah, you might want to slow down. What's interesting is that after we got in here shortly, the person who booked that campsite that we cut through came in, and he came barreling in there and just plowed through.
That's the thing too. What a blessing. Because we were literally praying, Lord, Holy Spirit, help us. What do we do? Do we have to go somewhere else? What do we do? And thank goodness that those people that were camping in the site that we came through came after we got here and not before.
Yeah.
Because I can say, I don't think we would have done it.
No, if he would have been there before us, I think we would have said thank you, but no thank you. We're going to have to.
And granted, the other thing too is this is the week of 4th of July. Everybody and their family is out. And today, everybody that has family in the area, you can just tell. The cars that are parked around here, every site is packed full of tons of people. So, it's...
Yeah, RVing is huge up here in the Northland. It's in this setting is exactly what they all look like. All the campgrounds up here are just like that, and they have great history and been around forever. And speaking of that, we got to tell you this. So we are laying in bed the next morning, and all of a sudden I hear, "Good morning, campers. How's everybody?" Whatever. And I'm like,
we would like to thank you for making Kamp Dels your vacation destination. That's Silver Bullet signing off.
Was that God talking up? And they have the old school speaker system that is rigged throughout the whole park. And it took me back to when I was a kid going to Bible camp, and they'd all say, "Good morning, campers." And the owner here, he calls himself the Silver Bullet, and he gets on every morning and he gives a complete update of events and what's going on. And he thanks everybody for being here. And he says, "We couldn't do it without you," which I think is kind of cool. It's old school, but it's kind of cool. You have some fond memories.
Well, and there's so many families here and so many kids. So I got to imagine the kids are all like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
Oh, yeah, their pool area here
their pool is very cool.
It's very cool, but it was very, very packed.
Yeah.
Chris, how did you put it? Body on top of body.
Body, and and then we drove around just checking out the park, and there was a line. Oh my gosh, more than a dozen people long to the ladies' restroom.
Yeah, just to use the ladies' restroom.
I was like, I think we'll just hang out at the camper, and I'm hopefully after 4th of July, things will quiet down a little bit. But again, it's summer in Minnesota, so I would imagine that the campground stays pretty busy, throughout the summer.
Yes. So anyway, stay tuned, because we are going to do a campground review of Kamp Dels in case you're ever up here in Minnesota and you're looking for a place to stay. Chris was saying, I don't know, would anybody, want to come to Minnesota? Actually, Minnesota is a really pretty state. It's the land of 10,000 lakes, so there are lots of, if you're somebody who likes to fish, canoe, kayak, paddleboard, boating, all that kind of stuff. It's just that their season is super short. So when it's warm, they are out at the campgrounds, out at the lakes, it's just teeming with life and great people though.
Yeah.
That's the thing about RVing that we love too. There's just so many great people in the RV community. So we thank all you who follow along with us on our channel. And hey, if you haven't, please subscribe. We'd be honored if you'd follow along with us in our MK wild, crazy times that we have. That I say that we really don't have wild. But
yeah, not yet.
But hopefully. They're fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Definitely that.
Definitely, yeah. And leave us a thumbs up and hit that notification bell. And every time we post a video, you'll be notified. And with that, we say God bless
and safe travels.